बीजापूरगतेक्षुकर्मपुरजाक्षिक्राब्जपाशोत्फल प्रयग्रस्वपिशानरत्नकलशैः प्रोद्यत्करां भूर्वः ध्येयो वल्लभया सपद्मकरया आश्लिष्टोज्ज्वलद्भूषया विश्वोत्पत्तिविपत्तिसंसतिकरो विघ्नेश इष्टार्थदा श्रीनाथादिगुरुत्रयं गणपतिं पीठत्रयं भैरवं सिद्धौघं वटुकत्रयं पदयुगं धूतीक्रमं मण्डलं वीरान्ध्यष्टचतुष्कषष्टिनवकं वीरावली पञ्चकं श्रीमन्मालिनीमन्त्रराजसहितं वन्दे गुरोर्मण्डलम् माधर्मे मधुकैटभग्निमहिषः प्राणापहारोऽध्य मे हेलानिर्मितधूम्रलोचनवदे हे चण्डमुण्डर्दिनी निःशेषीकृतरक्तबीजदनुजे नित्ये निशुम्भापहे शुम्भध्वंसिनि संहरा सुदुरितन् दुर्गे नमस्तेऽम्बिके सर्वं श्रीचण्डी महालक्ष्मी श्रीपादुकां पूजयामि तर्पयामि नमः सद्गुरुं श्रीपादुकां पूजयामि तर्पयामि नमः. Welcome all of you for this another session on the very special lecture series which we are having for the upcoming Mahachandi Homam, which we are going to celebrate for the Lokakshemam. So today, as we are unfolding various aspects of Chandika, we saw the history, the origin, and then we saw who is Chandi, the positionality of Chandi. And today, Chandika's primary expansion, the three expansions, which is very central in Devi Mahatmyam, which is Mahakali, Mahalakshmi, and Mahasaraswati. This is what we are trying to understand, the philosophical standpoint of these three devatas from the Devi Mahatmyam's perspective. So when we approach the Devi Mahatmyam, especially in the sacred context of Mahachandi Homa, it is important to understand that the text is not merely a collection of mythological stories. This, I had been kept on repeatedly saying this actually, about different goddesses or different demons per se. It is a profound spiritual vision that we get from Devi Mahatmyam. Like yesterday, you understood the central role of Durga in our lives actually. Who is Durga and what is her role in our lives? So there is a vision, and that vision, when it is adopted by the sadhaka, the supreme Shakti gets manifested in different ways for him or her who is adopting these principles, and they will be guided further in their lives. It is like, they say that the universe is conspiring. Have you heard this term? People say that, the universe is conspiring. So it is the very essence of the individual soul to get connected and get attracted to the foundation idea of what is Shakti all about. And this Shakti is primarily getting classified for our convenience, for our understanding, for our specialization, for our personalization as three different Swarupas, which is Mahakali, Mahalakshmi, and Mahasaraswati. And the Devi Mahatmyam, which exactly forms the chapters 81 to 93 of the Markandeya Purana. 81 to 93 of the Markandeya Purana is structured into the major three charitrams of these Devis. Let me tell you, there are 13 devatas are there for each of the charitram actually. Why there are 13 devatas are pradhanam when Chandi is the Devi whom we are worshipping is a very important question. We will come to that later. But now, there are three major sections which is the main aspect of the division in the Devi Mahatmyam, the three charitras. Each charitram reveals a different manifestation of goddess Mahakali, Mahalakshmi, and Mahasaraswati. And these three forms are not separate deities, but they represent the three movements of the same cosmic power that governs what is creation, preservation, and transformation, not destruction, transformation. The text unfolds as a teaching given by sage Medas to King Surata and the merchant Samadhi. Yes, that is the way it is starting actually. Both of them approach the sage in a state of deep confusion and suffering. The king has lost the kingdom, and the merchant has been betrayed by his own family. Yet both still feel attachment towards the very things that caused their pain, actually. This is one of the main reasons why even we want to learn Devi Mahatmyam, actually. This has happened since time immemorial, actually, according to the history of Devi Mahatmyam. Yes or no? Almost like they are giving like time is very immeasurable as far as the Devi Mahatmyam is concerned. And you see how it is so central and relevant to even today's times, actually. So they ask this very intelligent question, just the way you all ask very intelligent questions to me. These two people land up asking intelligent question to Sage Medas, actually. They ask why the mind behaves in such a contradictory way. You know, I am suffering, I have suffered, but still my mind is going in the same place. Why? A very important central question for all of us. In response, Medas, the Maharishi, explains that this is the bewilderment that is caused by the power of goddess herself, which is called as Maya. Which is called as Maya. That is the cosmic energy that governs this universe. To explain her nature, Medas Maharishi narrates the three stories that reveals how the divine mother operates the cosmos basically. These three narratives correspond to the manifestation of what is known as Mahakali, Mahalakshmi, and Mahasaraswati in Devi Mahatmya. The first manifestation appears in the first Charitram directly, which spans what is known as the chapter 1 of the Devi Mahatmyam. Here, the goddess is Mahakali, the primordial power that awakens the consciousness and destroys the darkness of inertia. The entire script revolves around the time of cosmic dissolution, when the entire universe has dissolved into the primordial ocean. Lord Vishnu lies in a deep yogic sleep upon the serpent Ananta. And from the wax that comes out of his ears emerged two powerful asuras, the Madhu and the Kaitaba. These demons symbolizes the force of chaos and ignorance, and that arise from the depth of the primordial darkness of the very existence actually. When they see Brahma seated upon the lotus emerging from the Vishnu's navel, they attempt to attack him actually. Brahma realized that Vishnu cannot protect the universe because he himself is under the influence of a mysterious cosmic sleep. This sleep is not ordinary sleep, but the power of the goddess herself, which is known as Yoga Nidra. Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu Nidra Rupena Samstita. Namastasye, 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 Namo Namaha. Nidra is also Devi Swarupam. So here it is not an ordinary Nidra, but it is what? Yoga Nidra. Yoga Nidram Gamishyati. Yoga Nidram Jagatpate. This particular line will come in the chapter 1 actually. Brahma then praises the Divine Mother, invoking with her the very famous, as I mentioned, Namo Devyai Mahadevyai Shivayai Satatan Namaha Namah Bhadrayai Namah Prakrityai Bhadrayai Niyataf Pranatasmatam. In response to the praise, the goddess emerges from the body of Vishnu. From the body of Vishnu. This is something very important. The goddess is the very foundation of the Atmam of Narayana himself. Therefore, that's the reason we understand her in chapter 11 as Narayani. This is the pramanam from the entire text. The text further describes how she withdraws the power of sleep from the eyes of Vishnu. As the energy leaves him, Vishnu awakens. Only after the goddess releases him from her power does he gain the ability to confront the demons. Vishnu then battles Madhu and Kaitaba for thousands of years and finally destroys them. The theological significance of this entire episode is extremely important for us students because it shows that even the sustainability for a deity like Vishnu cannot act without the activation of Shakti. Mahakali here represents the fundamental force that awakens the consciousness in itself. Her role is to dissolve the tamas, the heavy inertia that keeps both the universe and the human mind in a state of unconsciousness, actually. She is so highly tamasic, therefore, she is the one who can get out of the tamas from us and from the surroundings of us, actually. Understand what I'm trying to say? She understands that very tamas, and she herself is that very tamas, actually. And therefore, she is the one who removes us from that tamas also. She is the one who is perhaps, or rather, remaining in the tamasic state, and she's the one who is actually removing us from the tamasic state, actually. So, therefore, the text very clearly says that even without Devi's intervention, the divine intelligence remains dormant. In human life, in our lives, basically, this principle manifests whenever a person suddenly awakens from ignorance or complacency. Moments of crisis, moments that break the illusions of ego, or experiences that shake us from the stagnations are nothing but the expressions of Mahakali. Mahakali is therefore not merely a terrifying goddess of destruction, but the compassionate force that removes the darkness prevailing, that is not allowing us to be spiritually awakened. Clear to all of you? The second manifestation is none other than goddess Mahalakshmi in the Madhyama Charitram, middle chapters. Middle chapters means which includes chapter 2, 3, and 4 in Devi Mahatmya. If anybody is having extreme financial difficulties, you can chant these 3 chapters. I think we have come, I think now we are teaching chapter 3, I guess. Actually, 3 is going on in our Mahavidyalaya. All those who have already learned, if there is difficulty for money, you are doing something in the right directions, but there is no flow of money, you need finances. Then if you sincerely do this chapter 2, 3, and 4 on a continuous basis for 64 days, definitely there will be a great relief actually. And also there are people who keep saying that, money is there, but like we don't, it's not staying actually, it just like it goes away. Like, so what you need to do is that is a problem for everybody, I guess. Like, like if it is genuinely you can't save, actually, genuinely you are trying, but you're not able to save, then doing the Parayanam of the Madhyama Charitram, Mahalakshmi Charitram is definitely brings solutions. Actually, definitely means definitely it will bring solutions. The Parayanam, if it is done. When I'm talking about this, there's like something which I am also remembering. We all wanted to do Shri Vidya Upasana, Dashamaha Vidya Upasana, like there are people who will write to me, can you give me mantra diksha of Dhumavati? Can you give me mantra diksha of Kamalatmika? This and that, I'm like, all these are fine. But the very sustenance of our life, the very sustenance of our life is actually based on these three Devis, actually. These three Devis, Mahakali, Mahalakshmi, Mahasaraswati, or in other words, we simply call them Durga Lakshmi Saraswati, actually. What is that we know about them? Number one. Number two, how much we have offered our gratitude to them. Number three, how much we have worshipped them. It's a very pity state that, as far as I understand, Durga is worshipped in Tamil Nadu only as somebody who can get young girls get married. Actually, she has better business to do. Actually, she has better jobs to do. People think that going to her to the temple specifically on the Tuesday Rahu Kalam, Tamilians are laughing. You can see Tamils are laughing here in this meeting. They invert one lemon, put oil in that, and they will light a lamp and they will sing songs and coming in terms of asking for a good husband. She herself is independent of any husband, actually. That itself we are forgetting, actually. We'll end up going and asking for a husband to her. What to tell? Is Durga is only meant for that to going and worshipping her in Rahu Kalam, actually. The Rahu Kalam worship of Durga has tremendous amount of significance, actually. One person came like this asking for Kamalatmika Mantra Diksha. I simply wrote to him, do you know Mahalakshmi Stotram? Namastestu Mahamaye Shri Pite Surapujite Shanka Chakra Gada Haste Mahalakshmi Namostute. I'm expecting most of you will know this, because you would have heard this, like it's like he said, that all not needed. You give me Kamalatmika Mantra Diksha. You don't even know Mahalakshmi Ashtakam, actually. I mean, you see this, one way there is a Shakti arise, Tantra is arising, Sri Vidya is so prevalent, wonderful, no doubt about it. But if we look so deeply into the nuances, it's also alarming, actually. Mahakali, Mahalakshmi, Mahasaraswati are literally our home deities for every one of us, actually. Every one of us. And in either of these forms only, one or the other, either our Kula Devata, who will be a Stri Swarupam, means they will be in this form only for us, actually. Or they will be a Ishta Devata. So consciously ask this question, like how much we know about these deities, or how much I connect with these deities, actually. Then we can think about Sri Vidya, Lalita, Mahatripura Sundari, Panchadashi, Mantra Diksha, and all these aspects, like we can go there, actually. But foundations, without foundations, how we can keep rising the building, actually. Correct, no? So think about this. So let's get back, actually, because that is what I am trying to do justice as a teacher, and you are all learners are involved here to understand them. So let's do a good justice for this. So the second aspect is the Madhyama Charitram, which is 2, 3, and 4 of Devi Mahatmyam. And in this section, Devi is described as Mahalakshmi, the radiant warrior goddess who restores the cosmic order by defeating Mahishasura. Now, when I'm talking about Mahalakshmi here, there are two primary differences you need to understand actually. Mahakali, Mahalakshmi, Mahasaraswati. Here we use the word Maha because they are a very different idea of that Lakshmi which is associated with Vishnu. You predominantly you see a Mahalakshmi's picture with four hands and with one nice golden bindi with which ever flowing money will be there. She is not that Lakshmi we are talking here. She is the husband of Vishnu. She is the wife of Vishnu. Sorry, and that Saraswati who is sitting on a white lotus, wearing a white dress and always playing veena, she's Brahma Saraswati actually. She is not the one we are talking here. Actually, there is a Maha. There is a different. The Tantra very clearly. They are Ashtabhuja Dharinis. Actually, there are also some drawings are there. Actually, there. You remember you would have done this. What is this? The Dhyana Shlokam also of chapter 1. Kadgam Chakra Gadeshu Chapa Parigham Shulam Bushundhim Shiraha Shankam Sandatatim Karaistrinayanam Sarvang Gabhusha Vritam Neelash Madhyatimasya Pada Dashakam Seve Mahakalikam Yamastau Swapite Harau Kamalajau Hantum Madhum Khaitabham Akshashrak is from here it is starting with Mahalakshmi Dhyanam. Akshashrak Parasham Gadeshu Kulisham Padmam Dhanuk Kundikam Dhandam Shaktimasim Chacharmajalajam Ghantam Surabhajanam Shulam Pasha Sudarshane Chadadatim Hastaif Prasannanana Seve Sauribamardane Mehamaham Lakshmim Sarojastitam. Now the Saraswati Ghanta Shula Halani Shankamusale Chakram Dhanusayakam Hastabjaya Dadatim Gananta Vilasachitam Shutulya Prabham Gauri Dega Samudbhavam Trijagatam Adhara Bhuta Maham Purva Matra Saraswati Manubhaje Shumbhadi Daityardini. This is Mahakali, Mahalakshmi, Mahasaraswati Dhyanam from Devi Mahatmyam actually. So this represents the entire iconography of the three devatas we are discussing, and they are Ashtabhujadharinis actually, and they are independent of the Shaktis of Shiva, Vishnu, or Brahma. Actually, because they are the primordial manifestation of Chandika Mahalakshmi. Here, the reference of particularly here the reference is the chapter 2, 3, and 4. Mahalakshmi, but she is more personally, she is Chandika Mahalakshmi, the predominant devata whom we worship in our Mahavidyalaya actually. Chandika Mahalakshmi. How Chandi can become Mahalakshmi? That's a very important question. You should make a note of this and keep actually. Chandi is very fierce form. Mahalakshmi is very auspicious. So, how that fierceness and auspiciousness is getting connected, you should get an answer by the end of this month, actually. Once when all the lectures are getting unfolded, you should be able to connect that equation. How Chandi is becoming Mahalakshmi, why she is called as Chandika Mahalakshmi. Okay, let's see your answers. So, 2, 3, and 4, the Devi Mahatmyam, and in this section, she manifests as Mahalakshmi, the radiant warrior goddess who restores the cosmic order by defeating Mahishasura. The narrative begins with Asura Mahisha conquering the three worlds and overthrowing all the devatas. Driven out of heaven, the devatas, as we know, they approach Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, describing their suffering. Hearing this, even the Trimurtis, they get filled with anger, but they were not in a position to do anything for this actually. And what they did, they all prayed to the cosmic mother, and the collective brilliance and the collective prayers became what was known as Mahalakshmi. And also identified here is Durga, actually. This is also another question, actually. What is the fundamental difference between Chandi and Durga? Chandi and Durga. You should note down and keep it, actually. The text, that is the Devi Mahatmyam, in these chapters beautifully describes how each deity offers their weapons as gratitude to the goddess. This is the Vedic understanding that comes into us actually. This shows the act of surrender, of understanding the Supreme has come and we are supposed to offer what we have in gratitude. Actually, this is what is the understanding, rather than to say that, Devi was created with the collective powers of these devatas. That was actually not needed. Actually, that is purely a patriarchal understanding that comes in actually. And these weapons were handed over to her because they realized that they can't do anything with these weapons actually. So it has to be with its original power. Therefore, the emanation of that power can come in. Yes or no? For example, a specialized knife which a surgeon will use in the operation, only if it is there in the hands of the doctor, he will know how to use it. Yes or no? Just because of the reason we know how to cut a vegetable, we can't handle that knife actually. So similarly, all these weapons which the Devatas had were the Shakti or the manifestation of that Parashakti herself. So what they did, since none of them could do anything with their weapons, what they had, they surrendered it to the Shakti from whom they derived it actually. So that's the reason she has so many weapons in her hands, actually, because it was an humble offering. The way we offer things to Devi, yes or no? Whatever we have, we offer that to her, right? Whatever the highest thing we have, we offer it to her actually with gratitude. So similarly, the same thing happened with the Devatas actually. And the battlefield is very beautifully described in chapter 2 and 3. And with Devi's grace, I think the next semester we will unfold the explanation part of the Devi Mahatmya, because most of you have significantly learned the chanting and you're mastering the chanting. So understanding the meaning will unfold a lot of inner significance. So we will be looking into the next semester, which will start in June after the graduation ceremony. We will unfold how the entire dramatization or the theaterization of what happened in the battlefield and how Devi could take over, and she could win the battle actually, because it was something, as we always understood from the Devi Mahatmya, it was itself that the Devatas felt it is almost impossible to win the battle, but how she single-handedly manages the entire crowd and she puts everything into the order. And this is nothing but the form of Mahisha. We talk about the form of Mahisha, who is considered to be changing many different forms and appearing again and again in front of her, and throwing a lot of challenges actually. Like sometimes he's appearing as a buffalo, sometimes he's appearing as a lion, and sometimes as a warrior. Ultimately, what happens is that Devi pins her down. Devi pierces him, and she puts an end to something that is next to impossible for every devatas, and she restores what is called as the cosmic balance. And Mahishasura is nothing but the symbolization of the uncontrolled rajas. That is what the Devi Mahatmya explains to us. The restless energy that becomes destructive when not guided by dharma. And the buffalo form represents the stubbornness, arrogance, and brute force, basically. And Mahalakshmi's victory, therefore, symbolizes the restoration of the harmony in the universe. And while Mahakali actually awakens the consciousness, as we understood, by removing the darkness, Mahalakshmi establishes the balance and prosperity by removing the forces that disrupt the order of life, actually. And in everyday experience, this aspect of the goddess manifests whenever justice is restored, actually. When chaos in our lives settles down into stability, or when our efforts to align with righteousness and begins to bear a fruit. True prosperity, students, please understand this. True prosperity, according to the foundational understanding of Devi Mahatmyam, is not merely wealth, but the harmonious functioning of life in accordance to Dharma, which is very important. And the third manifestation of The goddess appears in the Uttama Charitram, actually. Uttama Charitram, which encompasses what? Chapter 5 to 13. Chapter 5 to 13. There's a very significant understanding here comes for a sadhaka actually. Devi first appears as Mahakali and she assures you what is called as the protection. Okay? And that was how many chapters? Only one chapter. And she comes into the life and she starts giving you all the wealth. And that is how many chapters? How many chapters? Three chapters. But a true sadhaka actually gets the jnana, the vidya. And how many chapters? 5 to 13, actually. 5 to 13 is full of knowledge, actually. And predominantly it is by Mahasaraswati. So you now understand why we call it Atma Vidya. Yes. So in this section, what is happening? Devi is manifesting as Mahasaraswati, the embodiment of wisdom and clarity, who actually destroys the most subtle form of ego. The entire pastime, as far as this part is concerned, begins with the two powerful asuras again, who's throwing challenges to her in a very different way, which is Shumba and Nishumba. And they conquer the heavens and take over the possessions of the gods of powers. They hear about the extraordinary beauty and radiance of the goddess herself, and they send messengers after messengers demanding that she gets married to them and she will become her consort. The goddess constantly keeps refusing, declaring that she will only marry someone who can defeat her in battle, actually. Like this part will be like sound I feel this is a very funny part of the funny, and also it will be very nice to read this entire aspect actually, because this the narrative that comes in, the Kesha, Karshana, Nikwalam, they will say like this: the messenger who will come, Devi will act as if she's very naive in front of them. She's very stupid actually. So what she will do, she will sit and she will talk like, like a very innocent person. She will be sitting and talking, and she will keep saying, "I will not come. I will only come. I will get married to the one who is going to finish off me in the battle. This and that." And then this person, the messenger who will come, he will try to threaten her. If you are not going to come, they will come and hold your hair and they will pull you and take you, actually. Kesha Karshan Ikwalam, actually the conversation. She will keep playing, oh, they will do this to me, but still even I am not bothered. But this is the pratignya, this is the vow I've taken to myself, the one who will destroy me in the battlefield, or the one who will control me in the battlefield. They only can get married to me. Like this, she will keep building the conversation, just to keep building the conversation with that. And one fine time, this messenger, if he gets irritated with her, and say some harsh things, what she will do? Hunkaraina bhasmartam. She will not say anything, she will say hum. That hum itself, what happens, the air that comes from her nose itself is fire, and they get finished into ashes, it seems. So like this, what happens, one after the other, they will be sending the messengers actually. And that part is very, very interesting actually, to understand the conversation. I mean, it looks so lively actually. How even in today's time, when women, they go outside, they undergo a lot of compliances. It is not a very easy task, and we understand that this is very much coming from Devi herself actually. And unfortunately, in today's time, it is not just for women, even men also equally undergo a lot of compliances in various ways actually. That is what I am realizing. So it's not easy to step out, of our comfort zone, to do certain things in our life actually. Forget about comfort zone, even the bare minimum necessities which we are supposed to involve in, like getting out to earn, getting out to make a name, getting out to achieve something. It is not easy. And at that point of time, each one of us should think the battle of Devi actually. It was not easy for her also. It was just not easy for her, just because of the reason she had powers. But still, she had to undergo all kinds of troubles, all kinds of talks, all kinds of disturbance, including misogynistic comments that came in against her actually. But she never gave up for anything actually. She was still strong. People who were with her own side, they also doubted her actually. Will she be able to really do this actually? Because we ourselves were not able to do it. Men, we were not able to do it. Will she be able to do it? But she fought every battle actually. She fought every battle to establish herself. So if any one of you trying to make a positionality, take a position, and you're trying to do this, you have to be like Chandi actually, where you have to show that anger, you have to show, where you have to protect yourself, you have to protect, where you have to show that compassion, you have to show that compassion, where you have to learn, you have to learn, where you have to do strategy, you have to do strategy, where you have to remain silent, you should know how to remain silent, where you have to raise your voice, you should raise your voice. So this is all we have inherited from our mother actually. But the only thing is that the consciousness, we have to cleanse our consciousness actually. The moment we cleanse our consciousness, what happens? We will not act within the limited spheres actually. We get slowly and steadily into that unlimitedness of understanding her actually. And this, if we adopt it, that is a very practical means and ways of, you know, going through this entire life, which is called as being a sadhaka actually. And this is what we are trying to understand here, actually. I mean, in our classes, in our chanting, in our Devi Mahatmyam learning, in our Chandi Homam, this is what we are trying to adopt to our personality because, as I told you, she's predominantly trying to do what is called as transformation, actually. And we should allow that transformation, actually. We should be able to allow that transformation. And that transformation can only happen when we are in this battlefield actually. Got it, all of you? So coming back, so what happens, like this we were talking about Shumba Nishumba and conquering the heavens and taking over the possessions of gods powers. They hear about the extraordinary beauty and the radiance of the goddess, and they keep sending messengers, and demanding to be her consort. And the and Devi keeps refusing this, and she keeps saying that only one who gets married to me should be able to defeat me in the battlefield. Actually, this provokes a massive war between Devi and the armies of the Asuras, basically. And during the conflict, Devi manifests as numerous forms from her own body, including the Matrikas, actually, the Brahmi, Vaishnavi, Maheshwari, Kaumari, Varahi, Indrani, Chamunda. All these forms are actually manifesting from her, and each representing the divine Shakti of Devi in a very specialized form, actually. And these devatas or these devis actually help the goddess to defeat the powerful generals such as Dhumralochana, Chanda, Munda, and Raktabija. And the battlefield with Raktabija is especially symbolic because every drop of his blood creates another demon actually. And the fierce form of Kali actually comes in to completely usurp him, that is, to drink his entire blood, which actually shows the entire because the blood should not touch the ground, because the once the blood is touching the ground, he's coming back again. So what she does, she licks the entire blood, every drop of blood actually, and preventing the multiplicity of the negativity that is spreading actually. This is one of the symbolization of why Kali's tongue is actually out, because there is a very classic interpretation that she steps on Shiva, therefore she, when we step on something, we will immediately say like that, right? Like we will bite our tongue, and that is the symbolization that they give, but that is a very superficial understanding of that reality. But actually, why Kali's tongue is outside is that she constantly cleanses the negativity. She cleanses the negativity by licking it. Actually, that is that symbolization, that power, that licking is what the when you see even the mammals, when they lay their children, when like they will start licking. Actually, licking is the way they do the cleaning, basically. Actually, so that symbolization is deeply connected with Kali. Actually, she licks to clean completely. Actually, and that lick is what it is: mantratmik, tantratmik, yantratmik, sakala, aushadi. You can put it, you can interpret it in any way. Actually, that entire cleansing process that she does. Actually. So coming back, eventually the goddess destroys Nishumba and confronts Shumba in the final battle described in chapter 10. And during this encounter, Shumba accuses the goddess of relying on the assistance of many other powers. Devi responds with a profound declaration: all these forms are merely the manifestation of my own self, actually. And immediately the matrikas emerge back into her body, because he's accusing you have so many people, but what happens, they all merge within her body, actually. And after this revelation, she destroys Shumba and restores the cosmic order. Mahasaraswati's role in this narrative represents the highest stage of spiritual evolution, students. The demons Shumba and Nishumba symbolizes the subtle ego, the inner tendency to claim ownership over power, knowledge, and success. Even after ignorance is removed and life becomes harmonious, the ego may still persist in subtle forms. Mahasaraswati destroys this final illusion through the light of knowledge. She represents clarity, discrimination, and the wisdom that reveals the unity behind the diversity, which is very important for us to remember about Mahasaraswati. And when we interpret these three charitras together, the Devi Mahatmya becomes a map of inner transformation, as I just mentioned. And yesterday we saw the theoretical understanding of what is transformation. Yes or no? What is the technical term for transformation? Please let me know in the chat box, please. What is the technical term for transformation? Yesterday only we saw in the class. Don't wait for somebody to write. All of you write. Because even these chats are actually saved, and I go through later to see who is responding, who is not responding. You're not able to write in the chat box? Yeah, I'm waiting. No one. One second. Yes, I'm getting the answers now. Parinamavada. Very good. Very good. Very good. Very good. So therefore, thank you. Thank you so much, everybody, for being very active. So therefore, students, to conclude this session, When we interpret these three charitras together, as I said, this is the Parinamavada that Devi is directly teaching us through the transformative lessons of her own life. So, Mahakali removes the darkness of ignorance, Mahalakshmi establishes the harmony and righteous action, and Mahasaraswati grants the wisdom that dissolves the final traces of ego. The spiritual journey described in these texts is therefore not merely a cosmic but deeply psychological because it connects with our day to day life and existence and our practical experiences, actually. The battles between the goddesses and the demons symbolizes the ongoing struggle with the human mind, and there we require a greater clarity, and the ignorance need to be washed every moment. Discipline, chaos, humility, and ego are all a part of the stories of our lifelong learning journey. And in the context of Chandi Homam, these teachings take even more a deeper significance. The rituals actually, which we are going to perform, is going to invoke the deeper significance of these physiological and psychological distinguishable abilities of the human self, which we are talking in the class. The ritual logics invokes the goddess in her most dynamic form as Chandika, as a fierce protector, and whose Homa fire becomes a symbolic field for us, where we are going to offer the imbalances, the ignorance, and the ego, and look for the transformation, or pray for the transformation, or earn for the transformation. And we as devotees will seek our Amma's blessings not only for protection and prosperity, but also for this Parinamavada, which we are talking in a very systematic and step by step manner, where this purification alone can bring in what is called as spiritual awakening. Thus, to conclude today's session, Devi Mahatmyam ultimately teaches us that Mahakali, Mahalakshmi, and Mahasaraswati are not separate divinities, but they are three expressions of the same Mahashakti. And this is actually the Mahashakti Rahasyam. The Divine Mother manifests as Mahakali when she breaks the darkness that binds us, and Mahalakshmi when she sustains and nourishes the world, and as Mahasaraswati when she reveals the wisdom that leads to liberation. So, when the devotee understands this unity, every event in life, students, whether challenging, nurturing, or even enlightening, is recognized as a compassionate play of the Divine Mother, guiding us towards what is the one central principle of the Sri Vidya theory, which is nothing but Swatantrata, the freedom that we are longing for. Thank you so much. We'll meet in the next session, which is tomorrow. Let me do the Mangalam and finish off the session. Sarva Mangala Manghalye Shive Sarvartha Sharanye Yani Namostute Jayanti Mangala Kavi Bhadrakali Kapalini Durdakshama Shiva Dhatri Swaha Swadha Namostute Om Shanti 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 Sarvam Shri Chandi Mahalakshmi Arpanamastu Tathastu. Namaskaram. Tomorrow's class.